Hello, and welcome to our Sensei Labs Enterprise Orchestration Era Meet the Maestros series, where we spend some time discussing and learning from industry leaders, maestros for their organizations, about how they are thriving in today's enterprise orchestration era. Today, I'm thrilled to have with us distinguished industry visionary Henning Bork, Vice President of Digitization, Strategy, and M&A from ASM. Welcome, Henning.
Hello, Jay. Great.
All right, let's jump right in. So today's enterprise orchestration era demands that enterprises must effectively orchestrate their people, their process, and their technology to drive better outcomes faster. At ASM, what are some of the key challenges you're facing in your work around aligning people, process, and technology to deliver on your critical initiatives? And maybe also, if you wouldn't mind, how are you working to improve on that?
That's a good question. First of all, as you can imagine, we are also a quite large organization. I'm working for the SMT segment within ASMPT. We are roughly 2,000, 3,000 people with roughly $1 billion US revenue. As you can imagine, we have many initiatives that are ongoing in parallel. We are a technology company, so we are open to adapt new technologies. So new technologies, many initiatives in parallel is a big topic for us. But in the end, clearly, it's all about the people that have to accept change, that have to drive change. So the second topic with people and change is also very, very important for us.
Yeah, and those three things really linked together, people, process, and technology. It's the only way that you can affect that kind of change, and certainly in organizations of your size and scale. When you think about that across sort of silos, how does that break down on your side in terms of how those people are aligned, whether it's geographically or in different teams or functional areas?
Yeah, also a good question. First of all, we have a process in place where we start on top with a strategy definition. So we define the strategy on different levels within our business and within the organization. We break down the strategy to different directions within the different business units or within the different processes. And we also would then define targets according to those business strategies or process strategies, which you can then see basically on a yearly scale, and where we then also would track the fulfillment of those targets during the year. So in the end, we try to create a picture, I would say a coherent picture, where strategy and targets and the contribution of people should fit together in the best possible way. Yeah?
That's great. Thank you. I think the last 2 years of time and certainly a lot of disruption that's come out of that time has caused organizations to really have to accelerate their strategic and digital transformation initiatives. And we're certainly seeing across our customers and our partners, it's driving an accelerated adoption of new technologies. How are you and your organization adapting to that change and innovating?
Yeah, very quickly, because with the disruption, and in this case, it was really a disruption because we had to basically leave the office in 1 or 2 weeks. So it was more an on-off switch, I would say. Luckily, I would say we were in a situation that we already invested quite a lot in the years before in the infrastructure. And our infrastructure was never set up to support, let's say, 1,000 or 1,500 people working from home and the rest in the factory. But this did go quite well, I must say. And then also with this, there's absolutely no alternative to the new tools and to new ways of collaboration. I think the organization did cope very well with the change that needed to be done. Yeah, and as you said, clearly it's an acceleration for all the digital topics. Why? Because I think a lot of people that have seen in the past digital topics helping them in their private lives, very used to booking your holidays online. They now have seen, oh, all of a sudden I cannot travel anymore. And now all of a sudden these and these topics are also possible without a customer visit. I can do remote demos, remote trainings, and. So there's a long list of topics. And this is also what makes me strongly believe that there will not be a way back to zero. So there will not be a reverting back to the original state before COVID. We call this the new normal. So we will move to a more, if we talk about working environments, to a hybrid working mode, which we then call new ASM working. But I believe this is pretty much similar to many businesses. So we don't think it will be a way back to working conditions, to collaborations before the crisis. So I absolutely agree. The COVID crisis has been a booster for the digitalization efforts.
Yeah, well, it's a forcing function in a way, right? It forced us to have to adopt a bunch of these things. I absolutely agree. I think we hope there isn't a way back to some of those old ways of working. A lot of this is a lot more efficient and frankly, a lot better for the planet in a lot of ways. We're not taking as many flights. I have my first flight since COVID coming up quite soon. And it's an interesting experience. I haven't been grounded this long in my entire career. So to have a flight coming up, and to sort of be looking forward to it rather than it being a thing that I do all the time. And frankly, I think a lot of that travel, as you said, wasn't actually necessary in the end to be in person. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's also, just to add this, it's also a part which we all miss a little to meet again in person. Yeah, but we don't assume it will hit back the old peak times of traveling and so much time that it's also then being spent for all the travels.
Right. Yeah. More time with our family, more time with colleagues, all those important things. So Henning, it looks like you're joining us today from the office. Are you back in?
Yeah, I'm usually working 1 or 2 days in the office and the rest from home. So I have a split model already. So this is, for me, it's very good. So I have the chance to see the colleagues from time to time at least. So for me, that works very well.
Right. So maybe you can tell us a little bit. You mentioned, I think you said the new ASM working model. Can you tell us how the teams are operating day to day? And also from the perspective of adopting new digital technologies, do you have the right tools and the data that they need to perform? And are you looking at automation as part of that? So are you automating some of the maybe low value manual effort, not maybe so much on the factory side, but starting to automate some of that to allow people to focus on higher value work? And I guess not traveling is taking out some of that low value time, but are you looking at automation as one of those technology solutions?
Yeah, I would say we are looking at digitalization from an internal perspective and from an external perspective. So we are a machine equipment manufacturer, and as a machine manufacturing equipment manufacturer, we are also looking how can we support our customers who runs the factory better in their processes, and to support them with their own software solution, with our software solution, how to integrate. So all this industry 4.0 topics, they come into play when we add this software layer on top of our machines. So this is one area which we are going into. Then the second area, as you also might know from many other companies, is really the interaction with the customer, to take the interaction with the customer to more digital where he wants to. So to offer him a digital interface with us, online web shop, for example, or digital customer portals for software licenses, offering trainings, for example, in our academy, which the customer can then take. So this would be the digital interaction. And then finally, clearly with digitalization, we try to improve internal processes. And there I would not necessarily say that we have one tool which is the solution to a lot of problems. It's more that we have, and this is maybe also where we are on a starting position maybe, or in a middle position, where we really look into different processes, try to find out what are the gaps in those processes, where do we have maybe to define the process better or to work in a different way and where would, for example, maybe a bigger tool help us, or where would be some topics we can address also with automation then, or with business intelligence and so on. But it's more the overarching theme, I would say, is really how can we improve the internal efficiency, and with the internal efficiency also then streamline our processes and become more efficient in the end. This is really the key driver for us.
So that's great. On that note of efficiency, when you think about those internal critical initiatives that you have underway, how do you look at tech enabling those in a way where maybe in the past you wouldn't have? And I think sort of, in the past, maybe table stakes was we have things in spreadsheets and we are building PowerPoint decks to present. When you think about that next generation of tech enablement, and certainly your use of our conductor platform as part of that picture, how do you think about tech enabling those initiatives?
Yeah, I would say I have a mixed view on the tech enablement. Why? May sound a little bit stupid, but in the end, the technology is also developing so fast that when I look from an IT perspective, I also have to choose what are new technologies I really spend time and money to really check into, to learn them, to evaluate them, and to finally decide, yes, this is a technology I want to go deeper with. And then finally, how much new technology I can also give to the people, and the people will understand and are willing to use them. And then coming back, it will finally really generate efficiency. So new technologies on the one side is a blessing, yeah, because it offers so much. But because it offers so much, as a company, I also have to make sure that we really have, I don't want to say gates in place, but that we selectively invest into new technology. We usually do in every project a so-called process discovery, where we find out what is really the process we want to optimize, but also where we do a proof of concept, where we really look into new tools, new technologies, and say, do these new technologies really fit to us, and do they deliver the value that was promised in the beginning? So just a new technology for itself is not the holy grail for us. Yeah? It has to fit to a bigger picture. And then same thing on the other side, we have to be quite agile as an organization. If something new comes up and is really promising, to also look at it and to take advantage of it. So it's a balance between, how can I say, keeping a system stable, effective, and running, but also trying out new things, maybe in a smaller environment, and then deciding based on a proof of concept, how can this move on in our company? And does it have a viable chance of success?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think it's a very smart strategy. The technology needs to be a means to an end, not the end itself. It's easy to get distracted by bright, shiny new things. And I think certainly when I look at the rate of change in a field like artificial intelligence, and every day it feels like there's some incredible new technology that's come out. Some of it's a little bit scary, but there's such a rate of change there that it's easy to get distracted, as you said. And so making sure that it is going to be fit to purpose and actually accomplish the job that you need it to do makes a lot of sense. Wondering if you have any other advice that you would share for other organizations that are going through transformations today, that are looking to thrive in the enterprise orchestration era, and who are maybe in the planning stage of that. From your own experience in going through the last 2 years and technology adoption and transformations, what advice would you share?
That's a good question. Yeah, I have to think about. My key advice is really what you said also. Technology is an enabler. It's not the target itself. First, think about what are your key areas you want to improve and you have to improve. Why do you want to improve them? What is the desired outcome? Will it improve the customer interaction? Will it improve something that the customer is seeing, delivery times, that you can promise your orders, for example, that you deliver in full? Or will it more address internal things where you maybe improve efficiency, or where you maybe improve employee engagement? So really be very crucial about what are the targets, the pain points you have, how you want to address them. And when you think about how to address them, be very open to solutions, look in all areas, in off-the-shelf solutions, in own developed solutions, and try to find something which on the one side fits to an overall picture, but also which you still, if it looks very promising, you really test and you really prove that the things that were promised to you are working and in the end fulfilling also the value. Yeah, this would be my key advice. And maybe secondly, once you have created your plans and your initiatives, also make sure, how I always say, how much can the organization digest? So what is the right level of change which the organization can fulfill, and what are the things that maybe need some more, how can I say, tweaking from a change management perspective, which need more focus on the people side, and which are maybe more like with the COVID situation, forced changes, which maybe forego a little easier.
Right, absolutely, yeah. I align very well with your sort of test and learn approach as part of that. It's something that we do internally, and I think it's critical. There is so much going on and so much change. Nobody has the answers to how to navigate all of this. We're so far off of established playbooks. And so the only way we can do this together, I think, very much in a spirit, internal collaboration, external collaboration with your customers, with partners like us, is to test and learn together and see what we can discover. So thank you in that spirit. Thank you for sharing your insights today. It's such helpful information for all of our viewers as they're thinking about their next critical initiatives. And I think just as we orchestrate our teams to work better together, we can also share insights to help each other thrive in the rapidly evolving enterprise orchestration era. So to our viewers, we hope you enjoyed today's discussion. Thank you for joining us. Henning, thank you for all of your insight. That was fantastic.
Thank you, Jay. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you very much.